VPNs are almost certainly legal in whatever country it is that you're watching this video from. I just want to get that cleared up and out of the way first of all. No clickbait and no making you wait for an answer. In fact, VPNs are legal in the overwhelming majority of countries around the world, including every country that speaks English as a native language, which is likely to include the one that you live in. But, as you're probably aware, there are 10 countries that either restrict or outright ban the use of VPNs. We'll go over all 10 of them and their laws in this video. For Top 10 VPN, I'm Callum. Let's get started. Of the 10 countries that I alluded to, VPNs are only classified as outright illegal in 4 of them. The other 6 simply impose restrictions. Don't get me wrong, those restrictions can be severe, but it does mean that there's usually some sort of exception involved. Let's take a look at the 4 countries to have made VPNs illegal first. They are Belarus, Iraq, North Korea, and Turkmenistan. Belarus, the only European country on this list, banned VPNs outright in 2015, as its government sees them as a way to undermine the law, although it's unclear exactly whether or not it has the capacity to fully deal with how large the VPN market currently is. The punishment for being caught using a VPN in Belarus is an unspecified fine. Iraq banned VPNs 1 year earlier in 2014. The reasoning was to prevent the spread of terrorist messaging via social media. Reports from within the country are that VPN use is still technically possible, but of course comes with severe risk of punishment. North Korea is likely the least surprising name on this list. Never mind VPNs, the country doesn't even utilize the same internet as we do. Instead, citizens and even officials are limited to use of the Kwangmyong, a North Korea-only internet. We don't know what the punishment for VPN use is in North Korea, but there's a chance that using one wouldn't even do anything anyway. Turkmenistan banned VPNs in 2015. However, the general state of public internet access within the region is pretty dire. There's only one ISP run by the state, and a subscription is deliberately prohibitively expensive, costing more than the average Turkmen's monthly salary. If you're caught using a VPN, you'll find an unspecified amount as well as summoned for a conversation with the Ministry of National Security. The 6 countries which restrict VPNs to varying degrees are China, Iran, Oman, Russia, Turkey, and the UAE. While the 4 countries we've just covered may have the most comprehensive bans on VPNs, they aren't necessarily the most strict or punishing when it comes to private VPN use. In 5 of these 6 countries, VPNs are essentially banned, with government-approved solutions being the only VPNs allowed. The exception is Turkey. Since 2016, 26 different VPNs have been banned by the Turkish government under the justification of national security interests and fighting terrorism. You can still use a VPN there, you just have to make sure it's one that works. The UAE is another more nuanced case. If you know anybody who lives in Dubai or Abu Dhabi, then you've probably heard them talking about using a VPN there. VPNs were initially banned in 2012 during the Arab Spring uprisings, alongside a host of social media and telecom services, leaving only government-approved VPNs permitted. However, that's no longer the case. It's now only illegal to use a VPN to commit a crime. That of course sounds redundant, but the real danger here is what's considered a crime is unclear. The UAE has extreme, nebulous laws regarding free speech and decency, meaning that it wouldn't take much for you to be punished for your activity on a VPN. The punishment? A fine ranging between the equivalent of $41,000 and $136,000. You must be careful if using a VPN in the UAE. In Iran, only state-sanctioned VPNs are allowed, and they are heavily monitored. Breaching those laws and using an unauthorized VPN can result in up to 1 year in prison. Oman is similar, where only corporate VPNs that have been vetted and approved by the Sultanate may be used. Get caught using a VPN to circumvent Omani internet restrictions, and you can be fined $1,300. Russia, despite what you may have heard, technically allows VPNs. They just have to be ones approved by the government again. Using a VPN controlled and monitored by an authoritarian government is, of course, a very bad idea. Since 2021, tons of big-name VPNs have been banned by the Russian Communications Ministry, including ExpressVPN, NordVPN, and IPVanish. The punishment for using an unapproved VPN in Russia is $5,100 for you and $12,000 for the VPN provider. They're still popular out there, both for residents and tourists, but using the wrong one is still technically breaking the law. Finally, the big one. You might be surprised that we haven't discussed China yet, right? That's because despite its rightful reputation for being the world leader in internet censorship, somewhat confusingly, VPNs aren't technically banned in China. It's yet another case of government-approved VPNs being permitted. Any VPN could theoretically become one of them, actually, so long as they submit and adhere to all of the ruling party's operational demands, like logging all user data. As a result, you can't go to China and just download any VPN you feel like. The punishment for using a VPN without authorization is roughly $2,000. Still, VPNs remain extremely popular in China, but very few actually work. The Great Firewall of China, the catchy name for its government-imposed internet censorship apparatus, is the most advanced on Earth. There are a further 17 countries around the world which our research has found to restrict digital freedoms. This can come in the form of social media blocks, a broader web censorship, or government digital surveillance. The difference with these 17 is that, unlike the 10 we've discussed, VPNs are completely legal to use within their borders. It's a strange dichotomy, but it's ultimately a good thing, as it allows residents and travelers to actually access an open internet. I really hope that you watching this video do not live in one of the countries we've had to discuss today. And remember, no matter where you are, a crime is still a crime whether you use a VPN or not. And if you do live in one of those countries, or if you're planning on traveling to one of them, it's extremely important that you learn as much about web censorship and VPNs as possible. This has just been a quick walkthrough of the vital essentials, but we go into all the relevant topics in much greater detail on our website. I'll put some links to the most important pages in the description of this video if you want to learn more. Until the next video, stay safe, and I'll see you then.